All right, doing our part. My wife has COVID, so she's staying in the hotel to try and help other people not get sick. CN Tower over here. Now, we got a good one for you today because we live in Canada and we don't actually understand a lot of the problems that the other world is facing. Why? Is because we live next to the waterfront like this, where there's tons of water. We live on the Great Lakes system. There's 5 Great Lakes. The day that we run out of water in the Great Lakes, man, there's going to be a whole other story that's happening. I read a story once. I think that it's the most concentrated number of people around a water source in the world. Something like 100 million people live on these lakes. Remember, water is the source of everything, like life. And the other part is energy. We need these two things: energy, obviously, food and water. But we have a lot of water here. But when we look at the southwest of the states and see the devastation that's happening when they have no power or no water. Now, I was telling you last week this story about the Yangtze River. I can't say it properly. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Yangtze River. They have the Three Gorges Dam. There's 66 rivers that are running out of water. 66 that have run dry. So you have no electricity and you have no water to drink. No cleanliness for sewers. So now people are getting cut off, and you can go look at some of these shocking pictures that are dry. So what does that do? There can be no civilization without water. We need 50 gallons per day per person. Now that's normally for all kinds of stuff, but this is very similar to how the economy runs. You know, when you have a dam and you have water behind it that's all booked up and only a little bit coming out, it's producing electricity, is producing water for everyone to use, to drink. But when we have no money behind that system, same as the economic system, we can only choose to either print more money, which is inflationary, or tax everyone a lot higher. So there's no easy way. You've got to choose between inflation and choose between hard money, which is raise taxes to 80%. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to raise taxes to 80% of your wage? Can't see that happening. And if history is any guide, this has been going on for thousands of years. If history is any guide, what happens is we always print more money. So people keep asking about the interest rate. Where do we think it's going to go? Now, I did not think they would be this aggressive. I didn't think they would do that. But I also don't think that they can keep it for long. Remember, everybody wants something for free. Everybody wants something for free. Doesn't really matter who it is. And the government cannot turn around and create a lot of supply. All they can do is kind of reduce the demand. And so, remember, they just want to disincentivize you from spending and just try to save a little bit more money. Okay, so if we remember that is what they want. Think about it. They're like, okay, we'll raise the rates a little bit. We'll raise the rates, but we're going to raise it a hell of a lot more later. So remember, they haven't really done anything for what we're going to raise it later. So they have shown you that they'll raise it now, but the later, they're getting that action for free. This is on the Toronto waterfront, by the way. I love this building. This is what I'm going to do in the future. This is fake grass. It's made out of plastic with foam underneath. Doesn't grow any weeds. Very, very soft to walk on, lasts a long time. I love it. 10-year warranty on this stuff. It's going to look like grass for minimum 10 years. So, you know what? We just have to be smart how we're going to do it. And so I try to look at charts in 10-year increments. Long increments. So if we look at long increments, you can kind of see where we're going. And since the 80s, it's been just a steady decline in rates. I can't see how it's ever going to go back to that. How much a percent? I don't know, 2% chance? How could they ever do that when we owe more debt now than we ever have in our entire history? So I just can't see that happening. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. Do you think they're going to raise rates? Paul Volcker up to 18%? No. And you know, Paul Volcker didn't necessarily raise the rates to 18. He just let the market decide where it would get put, right? And let real supply and demand take over. If you go watch an interview with Ray Dalio and Paul Volcker, they actually talk about that. And they said that he had no clue that it would ever go up that high. He just let the real market solve that. Remember, the cure for high prices is many times high prices. And that situation proved true right there. But when the government starts subsidizing interest rates, it makes it really, really worthwhile, right? But right now there's so much debt in the system, that's where I can't see it going up to that. I'm not sure the exact numbers anymore. US are 30 trillion and Canada's 1.2 trillion, but that is not the big numbers. Remember, that's what just the debt is today. This is not talking about unfunded liabilities. Unfunded liabilities are the biggest thing that's in the market right now. So what is an unfunded liability? When you have a kid and your child is born, child is 1 year old, and you're like, I've paid for his food today. Do you have an unfunded liability with that kid? Yeah, because you know next year you still have to feed him and clothe him. And the year after that, you have to feed him and clothe him. You do that for 18 years. In some people's cases, they're like 35 or 40. Anyway, I digress. So that's an unfunded liability. I don't have the money today, but I know I'm going to have to pay it later. And this is how the governments are set up, because in many countries, like Canada, the States, Europe, the ones that we deal with most of the time, those countries have some kind of social net where they're going to subsidize food, subsidize healthcare, old age pensions, stuff like that. So they have already promised to their citizens that we will tax you your whole life for this and then pay you later. So they've gotten the money now, but they haven't put out the product. And here is the problem: is all these pensions and healthcare funds are underfunded, and our unfunded liabilities, which we have no idea how we're going to pay back, are normally ridiculous. Quadruple, 5 times what the actual debt is. So in the United States, they have $30 trillion in debt, but federal unfunded liabilities, even to the veterans and stuff, I think is sitting like 150 trillion. To put that in perspective, like if an alien came down from outer space and the alien had said how much for all of Earth, all real estate on the planet, all islands, all land, all buildings, we still would probably only be a couple hundred trillion. So the United States basically owes more money than exists in all real estate on Earth. So it's kind of crazy. So when you start thinking about, is there a chance there's going to be a monetary reset? Maybe. I mean, that's what the World Economic Forum wants, right? And they're pushing it pretty hard. So what does that look like? Well, if you go back in the Bible, they talk about a golden jubilee. Every 50 years, 50, every 50 years, there was a big button and they push. And if you sold your land, it would go back to the family. If you sold your farmland, go back to the family. All your debts got erased every 50 years. Whammo, just like that. That's kind of incredible, right? So no family, if they had land in the family for thousands of years, not one guy, so let's just say one guy after thousands of years was an alcoholic and sold all of the land, the rest of his family line, his lineage, would be broke forever. And so this system kind of prevents one person in that chain from ruining it for everybody. I used to live next door to this family that had a really, really old house. I didn't know the history of the house. The house had something like 200 years of history. Now, European friends, I know you're going to laugh at me and say 200 years of history. That's nothing. But this house was a lot. It's in Dorval, Quebec. So in Dorval, Quebec, though, he owned this entire area, this whole city. But then as it got to subsequent generations, they were just selling off chunks of land, chunks of land, chunks of land, chunks of land, and building more homes. Eventually now, this house is lost in this suburbia. It has a regular sized plot of land. It's right on the water. Regular, normal size of land, but that's it. And they lost it through those generations. So the whole golden jubilee thing in the Bible is so that you would never lose it for the generations. Will world reset happen now? Remember, everyone goes, yeah, screw everybody else, but don't affect me at all. If we did that, if we didn't pay our bonds back, our treasuries back, it would bankrupt everything. Everyone would go to zero. Everybody. And that's not how people want it, right? They still want their pensions, they still want their health care. And so I was watching this thing with Milton Friedman many years ago. Milton Friedman said, we've asked an impossible task. And this is in the 80s he was saying that. We want you to tax everybody else, but give us everything. And we find that more and more, right? Every time I go on a live channel, every time I do anything, everyone's saying, tax everybody, the max amount that you possibly can. Tax them, but I need more money on my wage. I need a bigger pension. I mean, this is the tale as old as time, right? It keeps on going on and on. So what will happen? The only country that I know that has successfully, I'm putting that big quotes, successfully printed more is Japan, like per capita. And they keep printing. According to their GDP, I mean, they're the highest print ever. But look at where they're at now, just perpetual inflation, always. I think they have 400% GDP right now in debt, and they just keep printing. But, you know, when you're over there, you have to make $2 million, like 2 million yen a month or something, just to make it. So that's massive inflation. We have never seen that level, right? But my grandfather used to work for $1 a day, I always say. My dad used to work for $5 a day. When I started work, it had to be $50 a day. And now it's probably $150 a day. So things change, but we haven't seen it go into the millions, right? Like how Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Lebanon. That's what we have to avoid. So be careful, right? Be careful what you wish for as well, because everyone that wants this massive reset, they have no idea the implications that's coming from that. We did a live yesterday, and they were talking about landlords who have 1,000 units. And so we just passed one of the buildings that is a corporate landlord. But if you have 1,000 units, remember, you probably are in stocks. And those stocks generally sit inside of pension funds. And so if you are in a pension fund, your pension is tied to that. So they're like, forget it. Don't raise the rents. Make them pay. Let them live there for free. Okay. But now their stock is going to tank, and now your pension isn't guaranteed anymore. It's hard for us to see the downstream effects of what that will happen, right? So keep your eyes open. But whether we want to or not, the economy always goes in cycles up and down. We will get smashed, we will get hit, and there's no way for us to get around that. So if we are, protect yourself now, but be prepared. Because I've been wanting this for 10 years. We're going to be able to buy homes at pennies on the dollar. We should be able to buy homes 50% off. No problem. So I'm waiting for it, you know. I'm not going to be buying anything now unless a great deal comes up, and sometimes they do. We're willing to do a lot of work on them and so forth. So remember, guys, I want to hear what you think about this. Do you like this? Do you agree with it? And let me know. Put it in the comments below what you think, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if it helps. Send it to one person you know. Anyway, I'm there for you guys. I hope it helps. Have a great day.